that's going to be one of the most important things that we talk about. Let me introduce a couple people on the panel with me, and if you guys want to say good morning or hello or anything, I have Joan Durston, our administrative assistant, who's the boss of the office. So she will be helping mostly with registration. So, hi, Joan.
Good morning.
And our superintendent, Dan DeGuara, he's here to say hello and comes to all these meetings. So we're off to a good start, and I appreciate you coming, Dan. So you want to say good morning?
Thank you, Chris. I just want to say welcome to all of those joining us. The start of the school year, especially with a kindergartner, is always just really a magical time. I remember when my two boys, one started TK and one went straight into kindergarten. Just joining a new school community, it's really a magical time to see that excitement for our kids and just to be part of a new community. So I just want to welcome you to BRSSD. You are in store for a great education ahead and a wonderful 9 years or 10 years, depending on TK or kindergarten here in the district. We're fortunate to be able to provide such a great opportunity for all of our students, a really well-rounded, diverse curriculum, and just welcome. I'll let Mr. Marchetti get to all the logistics, but please know if ever you have any questions, we're always here to support you.
So Pam, do you have my slides?
I will look.
Okay, so I hope so. If not, if there a way for me to share my screen, I don't know. I thought that
you are able to share your screen, Chris.
I'm sorry, say it again.
You are able to share your screen.
Okay, last time I thought you popped them up there for me, so I'm give me a second while I mess this up for a second. So let me just as I put the slides up for our presentation, I want to just say to you that today the way we're going to spend our time is I will give you an overview of how Central works and what we do each day and what's a little bit of what kindergarten's like. But we are going to have you come back in May once you're registered and have you talk to all of the kindergarten teachers, and they can explain to you. That's when you'll learn, you know, what do you bring for a snack and those type of things each morning, those type of things. So, all right, I think I'm good. All right, so you will not get all that daily, you know, what kind of lunchbox you need things today. What today we're going to focus on is getting you registered and having you know all the deadlines and dates and giving you a chance to ask questions. One thing I do want to say is I attended the 6th grade opening for middle school last night, and there were a few questions more than a few questions about safety and reopening and those type of things. So I'm not going to spend a ton of time on that. Happy to answer questions, but on the website, BRSSD, Belmont-Redwood Shores School District website, right at the top, there's a section you can go to for reopening information. It's set up really well. It's easy to find whatever you need. We do follow the county guidelines, San Mateo County, so you can find almost anything there about what we do, and you're probably going to want to spend a little more time than the time we have today in this meeting. So let me see if this shares. You guys see that? Tell me yes, no. Yes? Okay. All right, perfect. So this sounds a little crazy, but this will be the year 2034 when these little guys graduate from high school. If they're on the 4-year plan, I was not, but on the 2038, that sounds so crazy to even think about that. So, so if you're starting now and it's your first child and you don't have anybody in school, this is the very beginning. This, like Dan said earlier, this is a very exciting time. It's hard to think 30 years down or 15 years down the road, but it does go quickly. I have my own two. The one with the taller one is 21 now. This is an older picture, but my hair was brown when she turned 14. And then from 14 to 17, my hair turned gray. So I don't know if that's coincidence or what, but she is a great kid. She's came through Fox and Ralston. So, and then this little guy is a 5th grader now, and he goes to Redwood Shores. So I'm a local. Our family's local. We are part of the school district. So it's good. So I do understand it. I understand registering for classes in kindergarten and school. So I'm right there and ready to help you. So I should say I'm also a client, not just a member. So I have been in the district for a little around 30 years. I started teaching at Fox a long time ago. I am a local guy, grew up in San Carlos. Just to give you an idea that I am committed to this community. We have a wonderful community at Central. So let me go to my next slide. So the thing about Central is we are a smaller school. And by what I mean by that is we are a little landlocked as far as building. A few years ago when we had a boom in enrollment, we were able to build on some of our sites, but Central, it was a little bit stuck, which is good. And for us, because we were able to put 3 classes at each grade level, which means we will start with 75 kindergartners this year, 25 in each class, 3 of them. And then that group of 75 moves through our school all the way to 5th grade. We don't have extra classrooms to grow at this time, so that's good. It keeps us right around 450 kids in our whole school. That starting time is an estimate. We don't have a starting time yet for next year, but it'll be something like that. We do have kindergartners stay through lunch, and the lunch year is a little longer than it used to be. Kids are out though at around 12:30. So you don't need to read all of this, but it's our mission and we really do live this at our school. But you'll notice just if you skim it, you'll see words like empathy and respect. We want to make sure that our kids are ready when they come out of school, not just academically, but also socially and emotionally and behaviorally, and they get out ready to work with each other and cooperate, collaborate. Just kids who really contribute positively to society when they get out. My favorite thing on here are a couple things on the bottom are these last 2 where they develop a positive mindset and lifelong learning habits. We really do work as a whole school to teach those skills from the very beginning, kindergarten. You'll hear those things a lot, and hopefully by the time they're done, they will develop those positive habits. A couple of years ago now, we haven't been back to school for a while, so we really didn't get to celebrate this, so I'm going to show off and tell you guys about it. But we're awarded the California's Distinguished School, which is, it's an academic achievement, but it shows that we were a high achieving school and consistently over time. And it's not just high scores. You have to maintain or improve scores over a period, 3 years. And you also have to make sure that your subgroups are improving every year. For example, if we have kids that are English learners, those groups have to continue to grow each year, and we have to show that. So it really is a nice award to shows our dedication of our teachers and our staff, but not only that, our community, because we do offer a lot of extra things as a school for the people in our community. Do you guys see that? Is that blocked out at the top, Joan, for you, where it says all the pause and all that stuff? Good. Okay, so you don't see that. It's in the old days we used to say a lot of things, but now you just go online and you want to find out anything about Central. At our last kindergarten visitation, I had 2 parents write to us and say thank you for having your website organized because it was easy to find the things I needed. So you can go to Central's website, or you can go to brssd.org, and you will be able to find almost anything you need to know. The registration information, BRSSD, is the district is where you will find that. But if you start poking around, you'll find the right place. I don't know, I put this on there, but I don't know if you're interested now. It seems a little early, but if you want, you can text a message 228-22A and put in the word Central Scoop. That's our school newsletter, and our PTA, and with the help of me and Joan, sometimes we put in information in there so you can see what's going on. You can find this information on the website, but it's fun to see the activities and things we're doing at school. So you can join, it'll automatically connect you. It seems a little early. I don't want to freak you out, but it's if you want to look and see what's going on, that's a nice spot. We do have two wonderful groups that oversee and look out for our schools. The School Force Foundation is an exceptional educational foundation that raises money for all of our schools in our district, and they work hand in hand with our PTA. And our PTA is also a wonderful group, does a little bit of fundraising, but mostly just really fun activities. So right now, for example, we're doing a readathon. So kids are counting their reading minutes, and it's Read Around the World. So there's a lot of connection to the geography of around the world for School Force. But also in PTA, we just finished a mural where each student made a little square out of 400 squares. And we actually had over 400 families participate, which is almost everyone. And we created this giant mural that had a nice message on it and some of our school logos and things. So we are about to start another painting rocks with messages of gratitude on them. So we do a lot of activities. It's not just about fundraising with both of these groups. So hopefully you'll get involved. I'm not going to ask you for donations. I'll bug you about that later a little bit. I'll have some people from School Force and somebody from PTA come when we do the orientation. But this might be a year old or so, but the foundation raises a lot of money. In fact, this year they work together more, the two foundations, to put their money together and use it. But you'll see it's about this amount. And some of the things that School Force, this is a year old, but helps us out with is we have keeps our libraries open, our reading specialists, our instrumental music, things like low class size, Deans at Ralston. The last one there, Ralston Middle School athletics. It's also athletics at the other middle schools. But I always think about that I think there's it said something like 40% of the kids at Ralston, that's 1,200 kids, participate in after school sports. And if we didn't have these donations and this opportunity for kids, I figure all those kids would be at Carlmont Shopping Center after school all together. So you don't want that. So you want to make sure that, so contributing later, but these are some other things. Our PTA is awesome. They have, in this time of not seeing each other except for on a screen, they have added 3 or 4 different activities. I really feel like we're stuck together as a community. And some of the things that they do are like the example, the readathon, a craft fair, bake sale, and of course, we have this Dolphin Dash, which is a huge community builder, which hopefully we'll be able to do next October. Per student, it looks something like that. You give what you can give. I just want you to know that you're going to get asked later on, and it looks like something like that over the year if you can. And that's what we hope for, to fund the things we need. Right now, sibling registration started yesterday. So that means anybody with a kindergartner or all the way up to a 5th grader now at Central can register. Or if you're not sure which school you go to, but you have a student in the district, as long as they're a kindergartner through, I guess, 5th grader, they can register now. If you are not, and this is a brand new student or you just moved here, you start in 2 weeks, which is February 3rd, and you start the registration process then. These are, we have scheduled, I'm not sure how we're going to do this. I've said that a lot this year, but we have an open house scheduled for May 27th. And I'm telling you that because that is usually the time we do the orientation. So we have our kindergarten teachers come. So as you get registered and you get accepted and assigned a school, you will get information from myself or from Ms. Durston about what our orientation is, and the teachers will explain to you what we're doing and what to bring. So there's a lot more information on that day. The first day of school, you can tell by the question marks, this is similar to last year. We don't have our schedule committed to a schedule yet or a calendar, but it usually is around that week before, in the middle of August, like that, somewhere around. It's a Wednesday usually that we start. But again, you'll find out more when you get information. There is a lot to learn today, so I'm going to get to the meat of this. So how to enroll, this is the most important thing for you today. You can certainly stay on and ask questions or type them in. There's a question and answer part for us to answer. We will answer everything we can before the time runs out, but this is the meat, and this is the most important thing of what you're trying to do this next couple weeks, is to get into Enroll. I do want to explain one thing I forgot to explain last time. You're going to hear about enrollment periods, and there are a first period of enrollment, and we take all those people and then we assign them, and then the next group goes second enrollment and third. We were pretty lucky about being able to assign people all the way to the school central if they wanted to be here last year. But my advice is don't wait and try to get in that first tier. And so they do go one tier at a time. It's not first come, first serve, but they will go one tier at a time registering. So you want to go quickly, but you don't need to super hurry. You don't need to be 8 a.m. on February 3rd, but you do need to be in that first tier. So Joan, this is your expertise. Ms. Durston used to be our district registrar, so she knows what to do, and I'll let you talk, okay?
Okay, well, thank you, Mr. Marchetti. Hi, everybody. The registration process is very easy. When I started my kids, it was all paper. And so now we've moved everything, and I'm dating myself. They're in high school and college. But anyway, everything's done online. You'll go to the district website at brssd.org. You'll click on the enrollment tab, and then you'll click on online enrollment. And Chris, if you can, Mr. Marchetti, if you can just slide forward one for me, please.
Yep.
That will then get you to this portion of the website. You'll see where it says step 1, online enrollment. Click here, that's where you're going to click. That will take you to the 2021-2022 registration page. I can't even believe I'm saying 21, 22, that's just as crazy. Anyway, if we can go back right now.
Go back?
Back a slide, please, thank you. Okay, so.
Pretty
right
fancy, Joan, back and forward, I wasn't ready.
I know, keep you on your toes.
Yeah.
So after you complete the online registration, you'll print out that online registration form, collect all the required documents. That again is listed on the district website. I urge you to please collect all your documents. Make sure you have them all before you register your child, because you will not be able to register your child without them all. Once you do that, if you have a sibling, again, I'm taking the registration right now, going through February 28th, you will email me all your documents. If you're new to Belmont-Redwood Shores School District, you will email it to the 2021 enrollment@brssd.org. So I'm just going to go over again what Mr. Marchetti said, because it's really important. A lot of people wonder, how do I get to Central? How do I get to my closest school to my home? It's very important to do the first enrollment period. Again, you don't have to be the first one in line February 3rd. You can be the first in line February 3rd or the last in line February 28th. And when I mean line, I mean just registering online and submitting your documents. That is all accounted for in the first enrollment period. We can't guarantee that you'll get your first closest school. It's all worked on an algorithm. You can read more about that on the district website. But I know from last year, and year to year, it's a little different. We did get everyone in who wanted to come to Central into Central. I'm not sure if there's anything more I need to add to that, but if you have any questions, we can answer at the end of this. And then I'm going to flip to the next slide and talk about childcare, because that's important as well. Or next slide, yeah. We have 2 childcare. One is on site here at Central. That's the San Carlos Belmont After School. There's their website and their phone number. Barrett Community Center, we have our Footsteps there. Again, with their website and phone number. I would urge you to call them if you're in need of that. I can't speak for either of them, but I believe San Carlos Belmont After School will not take registrations until you are actually registered here at Central. I'm not 100% sure about Footsteps on that one, if they start it now or they want you to wait till you are registered with your school. That's about it, pretty simple. If you do have questions, I'm available to answer them now, or if you want to email me or give me a call, whichever.
So I just want to add a couple things to what you were talking about as far as Footsteps goes. So Footsteps is a program that is pretty, you hear the name, it's pretty common at most of the other schools. Like I said earlier, we don't have the room, and San Carlos Belmont After School has been using our, we do have a portable, double portable that serves as our daycare, and they have been there for a long time. They're great. They know our staff. We consider them part of our staff at times. So, but they've always been there, and Footsteps has sort of grown over the last 4 or 5 years. So, but they haven't really, there's no spot for Footsteps at Central, and this San Carlos Belmont After School was already established there. So what they do is they still open early, so you can drop off kids before school, but they run out of the Barrett Community Center and move kids in vans. And they have 4, 5, 6 vans sometimes that come to our school and drop kids and pick them up. It sounds weird, but after 4 or 5 days of the kids doing it, it's just automatic. Those staff members at Footstep become part of our staff too. They're there early in the morning dropping off kids when we can do that, and they're picking them up right after school. There's this place for them to park and pick up kids, so they're just part of it. It's just that kids need a little bit of a ride a few blocks up the street to get to Barrett, which is up sort of by Notre Dame and kind of by the Carlmont Shopping Center. So it's not uncommon even for kindergartners to take the van to Barrett. If you need daycare, it's a great choice if you don't get in the one on campus. Okay. And the other thing is, there was a question, Joan, about TK. Do you want to talk about that at all, or is that?
Sure. TK, we don't have it here at Central. We don't have the space. Currently, there are 4 schools that have TK this year: Fox, Cipriani, Nesbitt, and Sandpiper. TK is for those children whose birth dates, let's say they'll turn 5 this year, between September 2nd and December 2nd. So if your child was born September 2nd, 2016 through December 2nd, 2016, your child would be eligible for transitional kindergarten.
Okay. And then there was also a question, does this pop up so you guys can see it?
No.
Okay, good. All right. It says, in case there does need to be some type of distance learning for the next year, what have you learned about distance learning from this year, and how will that affect distance learning for? Well, I have to say, as far as what we're learning, that we are fortunate to have a doctor on our school board, and we've had two panel groups of experts share in the panels to our community, and just making sure that our information that we have is updated as far as safety and cleaning and those type of things. I feel confident that we are using the county's guidelines and also getting the top information that's available. And we're also learning more all the time. So the changes in how COVID is transmitted or what type of cleaning we need to do, we are making those adjustments as we learn more. So I would say we're right on the front lines as far as learning new things. As far as academics is considered, we are so much better than we were last year at this time in the spring, when all of a sudden it was, hey, we might be home for a few weeks because of this. And then all of a sudden it's been a year. As a staff, the curriculum's very similar to what we've always done. Our pacing guides are the same, which means the adopted curriculums are taught. And we are following the pacing guides that we've had before. Assessments are similar. If we have district assessments, we're using those again, just like we would at any other time. I'm not saying that there aren't some challenges. It is one of the things that we focused on this year as a staff is making sure that kids are engaged, and there are lots of theories and strategies to make sure kids stay engaged. We've had specialists come in and talk to us about different ways to make sure that we move kids around and keep them thinking, moving. It's not completely perfect reenactment of the classroom, but we try to do our best to make sure it is as close as we can get it. I would say one of the things, I've been at a few schools, but one of the outstanding things about Central is the close collaboration between grade level teams. So the kindergarten team is very close. They talk to each other. They are sharing ideas, and it's so I would say we're learning all the time, but I don't think it's not perfect. We would love to see kids, and that's what we're hoping by the next time when you come here that will be happening. But I think that we're learning and we're doing the best we can, and it's actually pretty effective for. And then one of the other things I like about Central is we're not huge, so I kind of pride myself on knowing that every student who does need a little extra help, or every family, we're aware of them, and we're addressing their issues or needs. We're very good about meeting with teachers and finding out, who still needs help, what do you need help with, who do you need help with, very early, and we continue to do that throughout the year. So we make sure that all kids get what they need. So I'd say not ideal, but getting better all the time, and pretty good for what we need to be doing. So I don't know, that seems like a long answer, but you want to add anything to that, Dan? I think about just how are we getting better, or how are we, Mr. DeGuara?
Sure. I'll add a little bit to it. I think, two things. We are fully prepared and working hard to make sure that when we're able to bring students on campus, when it works for both our staffing requirements and for our community needs, that we're going to be able to do so in a safe manner. And that's making sure that all the appropriate safety precautions, physical distancing, face coverings, all those things are put into place. I strongly believe that we are ready to welcome our students. Right now, we have a timeline set for when San Mateo enters the orange tier. That does seem so far away, yet there's been a lot of developments with vaccines. We're hoping that our educators start to receive those vaccines, hopefully in February. And I think with that, we'll start to see some community change, and hopefully the levels of COVID in our community really come down, and we see that orange tier sooner rather than later. From the academic perspective, I just have huge compliments to all of our teaching staff, all of our staff, but specifically our teachers. who have had to pivot. They've taken everything from in-person to distance, and they've just really done a nice job. The one learning piece I would say that I'm really cognizant of is kind of that social emotional piece. We know that school is a social aspect, connecting with their buddies at school, connecting with other caring adults. That is really important, and our kids are missing that, right? So as parents, I think it's always important to think about that, look at opportunities for your kids to connect with others, whether that's close family or some of the approved community activities out there, and really just getting out. But again, I am really, this has been my first year in BRSSD. I cannot wait to get in our classrooms with students there and really see that magic that happens in person.
Okay. A couple other questions on here. There's one about after school activities, and it looks like a Mandarin program. So on our website, Central's, it is an older list of the after school, or we call them enrichment activities that kids can do. We do not usually have those on site, so kids are picked up after school, just like the Footsteps program, and brought to a location where they do Mandarin, or there are a few other opportunities for kids. You can check on our website, and then also on the BRSSD website. There is all of the after school or programs like that we send out permission slips to, or want to know. They want to get out the word to people through the school district. Those have to be approved, and there is a list on the BRSSD website of all of them, every school. So you can find a pretty good list. Now, I don't know when's the last time it was updated, because we really haven't had any of these programs for a while. But there's definitely a Mandarin one. But they are they're not connected to the school in the sense that we will maybe put their information on our websites, but we don't, they don't attend, most of the time they don't attend those at Central. They have to take a van to go to them. There was another question about tours. Now, we don't really have people on campus right now, or so we're not able to do tours. I think when we do our orientation, we will do some kind of pictures or things or video of walking around so you can see a classroom. And that's what today we would have done, is walked around a little bit. That's a good point. But we're not able to have people on campus right now. So can't do that. Let me see. And are you guys able to see these questions? If you want to jump in, what's a typical day of kindergarten look like? Wow. Again, at the orientation, they're going to go right through what they do every morning. They do a morning circle. They do, like Dan said, there's a lot of social time to kindergarten, but there's also a lot of language. If they're language rich, there's a lot of math and counting. If you want to see the standards for kindergarten and you want to know what is taught, you can also find that on our website, which is, it will tell you by the end of kindergarten, kids will know this. They will be taught this in math, this in reading, this in writing, this in speaking, listening. So the standards are same standards we use in California are listed there on our website, or you can find them on the BRSSD. All of our kindergarten teachers are experienced. They work together. The times are the programs, the adopted programs are also listed. They do a lot of writing, even though they don't know how to write. Some of them, it's pictures and talking about what they're doing. Tons of reading and being read to. Like I said, very language rich in kindergarten and first grade. And I would say our kindergartners come out very prepared for first grade. So we're lucky to have outstanding kindergarten teachers. We moved from Belmont to the school. It's full. I know that Central is full this year. Is there a chance that we'll be able to attend. Oh, so this is asking about next year's enrollment. So it is a little different because Joan, this is a question about they enrolled in San Mateo because we're full in whatever grade level I think they were looking for. I skimmed it a little bit, but I think it was second grade. So how do they're hoping they could get their kids back together. They live right by Central next year. So tell them how the waiting list sort of goes if you can.
Okay, I'm sorry, I missed the question. They live in San Mateo?
So their kids are at like this, one's in San Mateo, but they live very close to Central, but they couldn't get in because there's not room at the school. So earlier when I showed you the slide that we have 3 classes, that means we can fit 75 kids, or 25 to 1 is our and so when you register, they fit where they fit. And so it looks like they're hoping they could put both those kids back together at the same school next year. And how does the sort of waiting?
If I understand the question correctly, and they're here in our district and their children are split, one's at one school, one's at the other school, they are already put on what we call a priority reassignment list. And our registrar, Jordan Goldman, has that list and she already knows about it. If they're split, they're already on the priority reassignment list. When there's an opening and your name is at the top of that priority assignment list for that grade level, she will give you a call and she will email you.
So Jordan is the one, we are kind of one step away from all that registering and waiting lists and those type of things. So you can certainly reach out to us, but we don't have any influence on how that goes, but I do know that we try to keep siblings together, of course, at the same school. There was a question about diversity. If you're asking about our ethnic breakdown, you can find that on our website, and it'll show you. I would say we have 21 students who are not fluent in English yet. So that was one thing you can look at. So these are kids not just learning English, but they're not fluent yet. We have a lot of kids that are fluent in English and speak a few languages, but we are getting more diverse every year. And I don't know exactly the breakdown, but we're changing all the time. So I'm looking at the next one, but there is a spot on our website where you can look at, it's in the test scores area, and you can look and see Central School and it will show you exactly the percentages. Clarify my question, one kid is starting at kinder and the other is entering second grade. So if there's not an opening at second, would we still start the one student? You would get the choice of starting at kindergarten. This person wrote back with a clarification about, so you know what, after this meeting, if I don't answer your question, just give us a call or email and we'll help you out after this. But we don't want to separate you two. We'll do the best we can to get you together. So what you're asking sort of, if one area is full, we will give you the choice. You have both kids at this school or both kids at this school over here, but so they're together, or do you want to separate them and get one in at Central? That's Jordan's answer, or to be answered, and she can talk you through all of the choices at that time. Okay.
Yeah, I think the big takeaway from that is as a new family, you'll be registering centrally through our district office. Jordan Barron Goldman is our enrollment specialist. She knows all the ins and outs of enrollment, and she'll work with you to do our best to make sure that your preferences are honored. If it is the matter of as Joan shared, getting on a priority list, we'll make sure that happens. But do reach out to Jordan. I think she'll be able to share some concrete information with you that will put your mind at ease.
And I understand that it is a very strange time that, you know, registering your first child for kindergarten is enough of a, you know, to make you worry about everything, every little thing. And so, and then at this time, I can just tell you that, you know, 75 kids jump into this situation every year and we do an excellent job. We haven't lost anyone. We're very positive. We've had positive results throughout our time here. We are confident in what we do, and hopefully we won't be separated, definitely not this whole time that your kids will be here. And this is the beginning of, like Dan said, a long journey in our district. This is a great school district. Like I said, my kids went through here, Joan's kids. I'm so happy that they're here and that they get to be in this district. And any one of those kindergarten teachers, I would love to have my son or daughter in any of those classes. So you can't go wrong. I know that feeling of the unknown is strange, but you would think we'd all be used to it by now. But we know we are trying to get better every day, and trying to making sure that we're doing what's right. I can say that there were a lot more parent concerns, just like the questions you're asking at the beginning of the year, and it didn't take long, right in the middle, beginning of September, where we calmed our community quickly because of how we handled things and organized things, and how we communicated with families when there was information to be shared. You will find out more and more information as we go, weekly updates from the superintendent, from me, the scoop. So I think you'll always feel like you know what's going on, which is a good feeling as a parent. So thank you. I don't see any more questions. Do either one of you have anything else to say? Okay. Lastly, I just want to say we are small enough. I did offer that one parent just to let us know, but we will help you with any issues, or just call or email. Joan is probably better with the first email, but go on there and let us know what you need, and we are here to help you. Okay.
And a big welcome to the Belmont-Redwood Shores School District.
Absolutely. I can't wait to meet you and your kids. All right, you too, thank you, and that will be the end of our webinar. Thank you very much. Have a good rest of the week.